finally. Ayan. Sorry for the 5 minute delay. I just had to figure out how to do some stuff on the laptop while we are doing our live para hindi tayo magkaroon ng issues sa lag or issues sa tawag nito sa pagbabasa ng comments because it's kind of difficult to read your comments while at the same time moving my finger over over the screen of the phone. So I'm doing a dual monitor. I'm live streaming via my phone, and then at the same time I have my laptop on so that doon ko na lang babasahin yung mga what you call this, yung mga comments ninyo. So okay, I know that this topic is something that I should have discussed last Wednesday. But because medyo mahaba-haba na yung ating pa-live stream last Wednesday, I kind of thought that it might be better if I do a what do you call this? I do a reels and discuss this topic. But instead, I thought na mukhang kinakailangan mas mahabang diskusyon to because we have a lot of things that we've learned over the past several days from friends in the industry. So we thought that it might be a better discussion on a live stream as a topic because mas maraming makakaalam nung ano yung mga pinanggagalingan ng iba't ibang panig when it comes to this discussion. Because as you all know, the topic of punctuality for Filipinos, among Filipinos, is something that is kind of loose on our definition of what is on time. And this is something that I think, shows our attitudes with regards to how flexible time is. And in a professional setting, hindi maganda tignan na parati tayong late or that we have a reputation that Filipino time is always 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes late. So I think it's about time that we discuss this because it is a very important na topic, especially with the people involved with regards to this, to this issue. So before we begin, mangumusta muna tayo. Please do drop a comment on our live chat na chat box for those na nandito na ngayon sa ating live stream. Hello everyone. I hope na you're in good spirits in this live stream para medyo lively yung discussion natin because I also want to know more about your thoughts with regards to this topic. Okay? Love ni Marod, hello. Hi Sir Jason, sabi niya, you're welcome to our live stream. Rodvin Fiel is also here. Good evening and magandang timing yung dating ninyo because you came in early. So, before we continue, para dun sa mga nandito na sa ating live stream, please hit the like button dun sa inyong mga screens para mas marami ang makakita dito sa ating live stream ngayon and more can be able to participate because I want to get your thoughts with regards to this topic and magkaroon tayo ng mas malawak na understanding with our concept of punctuality and professionalism. Now, the reason why I brought this into a discussion for our live stream today, it's because over the latest event ng Binibining Pilipinas during their glam shot na exhibit, kapansin-pansin that during the entire event, maraming mga girls, maraming mga candidates ang actually late dumating. That they initially came in two batches. And then later on, habang nangyayari na yung event, biglang may mga dumarating na paisa-isa or padalawa-dalawa. And this is very noticeable, especially on the media part, because dumaan sila, may mga ilan na dumaan sa likod ko while the event is unfolding, while nagsasalita yung MC, while may mga nangyayaring mga presentation ng mga glam shots doon sa mismong event, may mga introduction ng mga candidates. So, napagtansya ko na, okay, are missing at around, sa una kong tantya, there was around 4 girls. But as I was reviewing the tapes, reviewing my recordings of the recording of the event, napansin ko na actually there are 7 girls who are missing doon sa initial na siguro mga first 15-20 minutes of the event. And doon ko napansin na, okay, so the chismis or the rumors about a lot of Binibining Pilipinas girls coming in late is something that is true. Because weeks before, maybe 2 weeks before, nagkaroon na ng ano eh, nagkaroon na tayo ng mga bulong-bulong na nakarinig na tayo ng mga bulong-bulungan na may mga girls na madalas nalilate sa mga Binibining Pilipinas activities. Now, I've talked to someone in the know that apparently inside Binibini, they are given around 15 minutes na leeway if ever they are tardy. So for whatever reason, either the traffic bigla or nanggagaling sa medyo malayong lugar yung mga girls, they are given all 15 minutes na leeway to arrive and log in their attendance. Now, the thing kasi is, the pageant that is, the top title for this, for the Binibining Pilipinas pageant is actually Miss International. And hindi maganda yung we have candidates pa lang na parating late, tapos ipapadala natin potentially isa sa mga mananalo or isa sa pwedeng manalo is yung mga parating late at siya ang ipadala natin sa Miss International, baka mabulilyaso yung chance natin for a crown. And I want that in this discussion, we discuss this in a mature setting para lahat tayo may kanya-kanyang sasabihin, may kanya-kanyang puro-puro. I'm gonna show you some of my perspectives as well as I want to learn more about your perspectives with regards to punctuality. Kasi sa atin, ano tayo, parang nagiging Pinoy na ugali na madalas tayong may palusot whenever we are 10-15 minutes late. Now, during the entire, entire conversation with other pageant media, I've also heard that some of the girls are perennially late. And the usual excuse is that kasi galing pa sila ng probinsya, galing pa sila sa malalayong lugar, or galing pa sila sa glam team nila at minake-upan, inayusan, binihisan for their, for their public appearance. Tapos, dahil marami sila doon sa isang glam team, pumipila sila sa make-up, sa hair, sa mga damit, and etc. Which should be a valid reason na pwede kang malate, but that is something that is not acceptable in a professional setting because you should be ready, and arrive at a designated time if in case na it's an official na function. So I want to, gusto ko medyo lawakan natin yung discussion natin on this because it's kind of becoming, a pet peeve, especially that on my end, medyo sensitive ako when it comes to time, especially coming from an international setting where I work, abroad for several years. I don't want that attached to my name is yung term na tardiness. Because I understand that in a professional setting, may consequences ang mga yan. So, yun yung mga gusto nating pag-usapan natin in this live stream today. Okay, so medyo marami na yung mga nagko-comment. So, anuhin natin, isa-isahin natin yung mga nandito. So, na-attendance na natin si Love Nimrod at saka si Rodvin Fiel. So, hello, good evening. T. Spiller is here. Welcome, T. Spiller, to our live stream session. Okay, ayan, may mga comments na. So, Rodvin Fiel is saying this. Malaking issue ang tardiness, especially sa Miss International. Di ba may rumors na may pinadala tayo sa MI before na naging reason daw na di siya naka-advance palalo is sorry. uh, naging reason daw na kaya di siya nakapag-advance pa kasi laging late. This time, sir, kung naging topic siya, not just sa med, sa SocMed post, but also para sa isang live stream, talamak na siya. Yes, talamak na siya because this has been going on for a number of times already. And the thing about what I've heard is that a lot of the girls na nagiging tardy is like 30 minutes late to an hour. So imaginein mo yon, pinaghihintay mo yung mga tao because there's an event na kinakailangan kang pumunta, tapos hindi ka pa na-make-upan, hindi ka ready, kaya late ka darating. That is on you, I believe. Talamak siya because there are several names that has been mentioned to me na hindi ko muna pangangalanan. Maybe in a patsaa in the near future, I would probably do so. But right now, protektahan muna natin yung anonymity ng mga girls. But definitely, magiging laman sila ng patsaa sometime soon. So, this is like a fair warning to the girls, to the Binibining Pilipinas girls, because kung regular na nandyan si SMA, si Madam Stella, in the Binibining Pilipinas activities, hindi nyo pangangarapin na gawin ito sa kanya. So why are you doing this to the likes of Sir Hines, to Madam Liliana? Because they don't, deserve this kind of shit coming from you girls. I'm sorry, medyo mabigat yung word na nabanggit ko, but if you are respectful of their time, then hindi mangyayari to. So it means, my reading on this is that you are disrespectful of the time of your co-candidates, of the pageant org, of the people who are waiting for you, from the black boys to the security to the people who is going to drive you from one event to another. Kasi I have heard that during the Habitat for Humanity na event, dahil sa pagiging late ng medyo maraming girls, instead of arriving at the site for where the activity is going to be held, ang nangyari was, the plan was to arrive there bago pa maging super tirik ang araw. And then, because maraming na late, na-traffic ang mga girls going to the site because of that. And dahil doon, tirik na ang araw, mainit na yung lugar. So the thing that they can do is just very minimal na activities, because hindi pwedeng bilad sila masyado sa araw. So that is, that's a point na medyo hindi na maganda pakinggan or hindi na maganda tignan. And on top of that, mas nauna pang dumating yung mga reigning Binibining Pilipinas queens, I heard. I hope someone can may isang magpatunay nito later on. I heard that mas nauna pang dumating yung mga reigning queens kaysa sa mga candidates. And mind you, ang mga girls na ito, these reigning queens, may mga napatunayan na as compared to these candidates na nangangarap pa lang ng isang corona. So imagine that in an event wherein, it should be a collective start for everyone doon sa event na yon, naghintay dahil may mga pasaway na mga Binibining Pilipinas candidates na hindi dumating on time. And I think, that is disrespectful not only to the organization, to BPCI themselves, but also to the reigning queens na nauna pang dumating doon sa venue. So isipin nyo na lang, hindi ko naman ito, I know that tackling something of this sensitive, tackling something that is, that is not a positive topic to discuss, and it could even it could even jeopardize my accreditation with BPCI. But I think that this is something that needs to be called out doon sa mga candidates na parati na lang late. Lalo na kung ang late mo is 30 minuto to an hour. So, hindi ko isusugal yung tawag nito, hindi ko isusugal yung reputasyon ko dito sa topic na ito kung wala akong pinanghahawakan na mga reliable na mga sources. So, I hope that if there are binibinis who are listening to this live stream, kung matamaan kayo, um, wag nyong dibdibin because this is something that is ultimately for your own good. Because if you are not respectful to the time of other people, then you cannot be trusted with bigger and larger responsibilities. Dahil among the Japanese, their concept of politeness extends to punctuality. And I think that is something that at this moment, wala naman siguro sa inyo mga tipong 16-year-old, 15-year-old na hindi pa fully develop yung kanilang cranial na na mga nerves ng kanilang mga neurons sa brain. So, I would expect a certain level of maturity for the candidates who is listening or watching this live stream, to take this as mature people dahil this is ultimately for your own good. Okay? So, magkakasakitan man tayo dito, this is not because pinipersonal ko kayo, but rather I am pointing out a glaring, mistake, a glaring error in judgment to be late perennially, and think that it's just okay. It's Filipino time anyway. Okay? So, hindi ko ilalagay itong topic na ito in a live stream setting kung hindi sa tingin ko seryoso itong problemang ito. Bonjour, Sir Jason. Happy to professionalism above all. When I was working as a product development officer or as a expat in Jakarta, I know that timetables have to be met because if you don't meet your timetables, it would probably mean cost to the company, and it would probably mean sales opportunity loss for the brand that I'm working with. Anytime that I have a delay, even if it's just for one day, it might spell a 150 pesos per 150,000 pesos per store on a weekend sales for a particular store. So imagine mo if I lose 300,000 pesos on a certain store, on my top selling store, because I was not able to bring enough stock on that store for the sales on the weekend. Ganun kalaki yung delay na pwedeng mangyari kapag na-delay ako ng ordering, for example, ng tela for the garment na ipoproduce na ibebenta sa tindahan ko. I know that because I review the sales when I was still working as a product development officer in one of the local brands here. I know that one day na delay sa shipment ng tela from China would spell me a week or 2 weeks na delay sa factory line. That is why when it comes to punctuality, when it comes to timetables, I really am very careful, especially if it will cost me money down the line. This is something that I don't think that a lot of the girls seem to understand, na ay pageant lang naman yan. So there's no cost on them na ma-delay or ma-late kami ng dating. The problem with that mentality is that it propagates the fact that the way that we view time or the time ng ibang tao not of importance, because mas importante yung oras natin na mapaganda muna tayo bago tayo dumating dun sa event. I think that's a very big misconception, a very big mistake in the way that we think of time as compared to politeness vis-a-vis other people. I don't think na a lot of these girls understand that yung oras ng ibang tao importante, and yung oras nila nababayaran. A lot of this, instances where here in the Philippines, yung mga overtime ng mga out of town ng mga activities, hindi kadalasan nababayaran ng overtime pay yung mga smaller na mga tao behind the scenes, yung mga drivers na naghihintay, yung mga security na personnel na naghihintay sa inyo. I think that these girls who think that hihintayin naman nila ako, yung mentality na ninyo in this pageant, I don't think that you understand that yung mga maliliit na tao, sila ang naaapektuhan. Yung oras na wala sa kanila, sa mga pamilya nila, yung oras na they should have been commuting, going home, and spending time with their families, that's something that you cannot pay back. Yun yung hindi maganda na ugali na nakikita ko, because you think that your time is much more important than everybody else. Kung active si Madam Stella, hindi nyo gagawin yan. So why is it that now that majority of the things that is being done is under the different people under BPCI, nagagawa ng konsensya nyo na gawin yon na maging late na lang parate? Eh di sana hindi na lang kayo sumali, di na lang sana kayo nangarap na mag-apply sa Binibining Pilipinas kung ganyan kayo perennially late. Kasi what's the point of joining a pageant whose top title is very much essential sa kanila yung konsepto ng politeness and punctuality. Imagine if you are going to compete at Miss International and you're always late, na parating naghihintay yung mga Japanese organizers sa inyo. Sorry, mukhang may there. Let's Okay, it's still, sorry. This is an important call. I don't know why. Okay, there. Makakapaghintay yan. So anyway, if the Japanese are very much keen to, very much focusing on punctuality and politeness, then shouldn't we find a girl who is also, at the same wavelength when it comes to punctuality and politeness as the Japanese are? And if you are a Binibining Pilipinas candidate now at parati kang late, why should the organization, why should the judges, why should fans put trust in you and compete in an international competition where you are being observed with your punctuality and professionalism, and you cannot deliver at the national level? So bakit kami mag-i-invest na suportahan ka kung sa national level pa lang disrespectful ka na sa oras ng iba, 'di ba? I think ito yung ito yung nakakalimutan ng mga girls na aspect, that in a competition everything that you do is being observed. And I think that just because inisip nila wala naman si madam na nagte-take down notes, you can get a pass. Unfortunately, no. I've heard that in Binibining Pilipinas, there are you are being checked in terms of attendance 2 or 3 times. Once na pag dumating ka doon sa if the meeting place is, let's say, New Frontier Theater or yung Aurora Tower na office, that's your first login. And then you have a second login kung anong oras ka dumating by one of the security. And usually, that security is Miss Jen. And kilala ko si Miss Jen. Si Miss Jen, hindi siya nagsasabi ng mga ganitong mga ng mga ganitong mga detalye sa mga pageant media. But I have people who are within the organization na nagsasabi na ito yung mga roles ng mga taong ito. The mere fact that twice kayo kinukuhanan ng login means that hindi kayo pwedeng makapeke sa pag-time in ninyo sa mga activities. And this is why um, I've heard that during the glam shot exhibit, kompleto kayo o hindi, pinababa ang mga candidates and you are being marked that you were late on that event. And may mga tao na dumating 20 minutes late, 30 minutes late, nakapag-start na yung event, wala pa sila. And I understand that also that the host was buying time na nakikipag-usap sa mga tao at the event. And I understand that yun yung cost ng tao nito, yun yung cost na kaya naman pala mukhang maraming Q&A session ang host with the media and the fans at the event because they are buying time to wait for the girls na dumating, especially kung late silang dumating. And whether or not dumating sila on time, whether or not they were ready na bumaba a certain time at a certain time frame, the event has to start. Kasi una, pinaghihintay niya yung media, pinaghihintay niya yung fans, tapos may event pa kayong kasunod after that because after their glam shot exhibit na opening, meron pa silang MMFF na film viewing na pinuntahan, na premiere na pinuntahan. So imagine that na naghihintay yung mga pageant media na mag-start yung event dahil marami pa lang late. So ganun na lang yung gulat ko na kaya naman pala tong si Roan ang tagal ng spiel niya bago nag-start yung event kasi kinakailangan nilang hintayin yung mga na late na mga girls. So and this is and I would not have noticed this had it been not that siguro 3 or 4 girls na late, or I think it was 3 girls na late, dumaan sa likod ko during that event. Tapos dumating si Madam. So I think hindi napansin ng mga ibang fans. I think napansin ng ilang mga media na kasamahan ko, but hindi na lang nagsalita. But ako medyo medyo I was peeved because I would have wanted like a complete shot of all the girls nakasama si Madam. But may mga bungi-bungi during that time. Okay, basa muna ako ng mga comments before tayo tumuloy. Where were we? Rowan Santa Maria, I think I've already read your message, so your comment. So laktaw na tayo kay Rodvin. Sabi niya, I agree with Rowan. As part ng isang company, we are expected to be on time every time. I remember that there was a company that I worked for on my siguro mga first 5 years in the fashion industry, that they are so very particular with time that if you are 1 minute late, walang grace period na tawag ito na 15 minutes late. Walang ganon. If you are late by 1 minute, you are late by 1 minute. So you need to be there on time. By the time na nag 8 o'clock, for example, yung time in, you should be at your desk starting your work. Their concept of tardiness is that 1 second that you are off from that 8 o'clock na time in at pumatak na siya ng 8:01, even if 8:01:01 yung time in mo, you are late. And they will take note of that. And I think that is the kind of strictness and discipline that we need to inculcate with these girls na parati na lang late. I know na may mga girls na nagsasabi na ang kanilang excuse is because malayong lugar sila nang gagaling. May mga na pumipila sa makeup chair dun sa kanilang mga dun sa kanilang mga makeup artist. And mayroon pang silang mga hair and makeup ganyan na dinadahilan. I don't think that's a valid reason, simply because if you are kung galing ka ng mas malayong lugar, then leave earlier. Iwasan mo yung traffic. If you are experiencing na yung glam shot team mo, kinakailangan mo pang dayuhin sa Pasig or sa, let's say, sa Caloocan for whatever hair and makeup, then your glam team is not helping you out. Because if your glam team is, is thinking for your betterment, or if ang glam team mo, ang iniisip nila is yung ikakabuti mo, ikakaganda ng imahe mo sa organization, then they should have done, okay, let's all meet up at a certain place. Pwede kayong makiusap doon sa, okay, here's our camp address, dyan lahat tayo magkikita-kita, dyan kayo lahat sabay-sabay i-makeup, sabay-sabay na i-hairstyle, sabay-sabay na i-styling bago kayo dumating sa sa venue kung saan gaganapin yung event. Para lahat kayo sabay-sabay dumating, sabay-sabay kayo na hindi late na dumating if in case na maaga kayong matapos. Because if your excuse is that kinakailangan pa namin magpunta ng Ortigas para magpa-makeup tapos saka pa kami babiyahe pabalik ng Quezon City for the Binibining Pilipinas event, then why can't you make an arrangement na yung hair and makeup ninyo magkita-kita kayo sa isang designated place na malapit sa sa Quezon City, because that would have saved you time na going back and forth. So I think it's about time that these girls would think na kung hindi nyo kayang uh, hintayin yung mga magme-makeup sa inyo, bakit hindi kayo ang gumawa ng hair and makeup ninyo? By now, siguro naman it should be safe to say na you are able to do your own hair and makeup even if it's the simplest one. So, ano yung pinagkakaiba ninyo with other girls in 2011, 12, 13, 14, 15 na sina Pia kayang mag-makeup sa sarili nila para hindi sila malate doon sa mga doon sa mga events na ng Binibining Pilipinas. How is it possible that someone who is a Miss Universe winner can do her own hair and makeup, even if it's just the basic one, so that hindi siya at the mercy of her glam team if in case na malate siya sa isang event? I don't think that there is a reason for pageant girls nowadays na hindi nyo kayang gawin yung sarili nyong hair and makeup. Because I have seen that yung mga girls who were trained in the 2015, 2016, 2017, and backwards, kaya nilang gawin yung sarili nilang makeup para hindi sila umaasa sa hair and makeup ng glam team nila. In fact, Catriona, during Miss Universe na competition, siya lang ang gumawa ng sarili niyang hair and makeup for the finals. It's not perfect yung niya, yung pagka-curl nung hair niya doon sa finals ng Miss Universe, but the mere fact na ginawa niya on her own and she was able to to compete with her own kayod na hair and makeup says something about preparedness, says something about yung how serious and disciplined she is, so that alam niya na hindi siya at the mercy of at the mercy of the hair and makeup people just because kinakailangan niyang maghintay doon sa makeup chair na siya ang sumunod na ayusan. So I don't think na may excuse ang mga Binibining Pilipinas girls ngayon, because you are spoiled for choice. In fact, when when uh, when in 2016, 2017, I made a blog post with regards to the importance of the glam team, I did not, predict that the Binibining or the pageant girls would be so reliant on their glam team na hindi na nila kayang gumalaw. I don't think that that is the kind of progression that you would want, because it makes you incapable of making decisions yourself. It makes you at the mercy of other people, just so you are prepared for an event. Yun yung medyo kinakailangan pumareno tayo konti at ipaalala sa inyo na sa international na competition, kapag kokonti lang yung resources ninyo at oras ninyo para to go on stage at hindi pa kayo naaayusan, maghihintay pa ba kayo ng another hour bago bago nyo ayusin ang sarili ninyo? I mean, that kind of mentality is very backwards thinking. So you need to be prepared. Alam niyo dapat kung paano gawin yung sarili niyong hair and makeup if in case na sumabak kayo internationally or even dito pa lang sa local na pageant. Because yung mga previous na mga girls, going back to 1990s, the likes of supermodels like Marina Benipayo, like Marilyn Espino, Desiree Verdadero in the 1980s, sila yung sarili lang gumagawa ng kanilang makeup. Wala silang inaasahang iba na gagawa ng makeup nila during the pageant night. So, you are spoiled for choice, but at the same time, you are making bad choices by, sticking with these glam team na super reliant kayo, na you are, kumbaga, pilay kayo kapag hindi sila gumalaw. So, saan kayo pupulutin at the international competition yan? And this is also probably one of the reasons why we're not winning crowns lately, because nagiging super reliant ang mga pageant girls sa mga glam team nila para magmukhang maayos, prim and proper in their public appearances. So, bago pa mas lalong maging mainit itong usapan natin ito, let's read some comments in the chat box. Okay, so here we are. We have Will Garcia. Hi, suggestion pa shout out from Los Baños, Laguna. Hello, Will Garcia. Simple lang naman, sabi niya. If tardy ng candidates sa local events, how much pa pag international na? Tardiness is a habit that shouldn't be followed. Rodvin Fiel is saying, isa pa yan sir, baka masyado nang nakadepende sa glam team nila ang girls these days, di masyado nakakatulong since sa international competition dapat independent sila. Again, how can you say that you are an empowered woman if putting yourself together is such a challenge for you? How can you say that you are an empowered, phenomenal person if parati kang late? If hindi ka ready by the time that you are needed to be ready? Diba? Parang it doesn't calculate well. It doesn't mesh well. It doesn't go well with the notion of someone who is, empowered. Because if you are empowered, then you are not reliant on the mercy of your makeup artist to be presentable. Margin Bueno. How about sa Binibining Pilipinas? May dagdag na ba ng mga new crowns or 2 pa lang? Mamaya alam mo Marjon, nasagot ko na yan sa mga previous live stream. Nasagot ko na yan sa IG stories ng ilang beses. So, backtrack na lang. Rowan Santa Maria is saying, we have a saying with my German colleagues, better to be an hour early and have an event start later rather than be the one who is 10 seconds late. And I kind of agree with that, Rowan. Kasi I remember when I was, when I was a young professional, sa aming mga magkakaibigan, I'm the youngest in a group of, parang 5'7" na mga magkakaibigan. And back then, I didn't know much about how people should be respectful of everybody else's time. Because dun sa grupo namin magkakaibigan, we are either 10 minutes early or 30 minutes late. And usually, yung mga people who are 10 minutes early, pagdating pa lang, umu-order na ng mga food, just so para pagdating ng iba na dumating na late, meron ng mga pagkain kumbaga na nakahanda for everyone. However, applying that kind of situation on a professional setting is very much a challenge because you don't know each other. You don't know yung boundaries ng iba't ibang mga taong uh, kinakaharap mo. Especially if you are dealing with an international na mga principals, for example. And I've always thought that I would rather be the one who is early, that is 15 minutes early, so that I can prepare, I can think of, or rather I can check if yung tindahan na dadalawin ng mga principals ko is in best shape, kung merong mga kinakailangan i-minor tweak bago sila tumating. And then that extra 30 minutes or 25 minutes that I am early, nagagawa ko yun ng paraan. And I think that is something na innate sa mga professionals. Innate sa mga taong lumaki sa taong ito, lumaki sa isang industriya na time means money. Time is gold. That any delay in the way in your deliverables would cost the company money, and you don't want to be at the chopping block because sa'yo mapagbubuntunan lahat ng sisi kung na-late yung orders, na-late yung shipment, and you're costing, money to the company. So, knowing na yun yung training ko, I would have thought that because these girls, karamihan sa kanila, mga may pinag-aralan, mga professionals, a lot of these girls are either a law student, a law graduate, taking at MBA, taking a PhD, professional na mga sports people, newscasters, they are sportscasters, they are architects, they are customs brokers, they are teachers, they are engineers. I would have thought that this batch collectively have a innate understanding of time and punctuality. Yun yung inaasahan ko from them. That is why I'm so disappointed with this batch, because nataon pa man din na they are a batch of largely full of professional na mga tao, pero nahahaluan sila ng mga taong parating late, parating tardy. And I don't like that, that image that is attached to a potential Miss International representative. Kasi we've had that experience before. I think na-mention na sa chat box kanina na we already had an experience in the past na we sent, a candidate na parating late, kaya hindi siya appreciated by the Japanese judges. So yun yung sana naiintindihan nitong mga girls na to, dahil um, ang napaka-disrespectful nung hindi mo ginagalang yung oras ng ibang tao. Okay? Margin Bueno, Margin Bueno, saka ako na anuhin yung tanong mo about the crowns. Rodvin Fiel, nahiya ka sa BPCI and sa Reigning Queens, pambihira yung naging cause ng delay. Agree, especially for that Habitat for Humanity na event. Rowan Santa Maria, especially for an organization such as Binibini, everyone should put the best foot forward of a Filipina. Couldn't have been placed more constructively and more well-intentioned. Zaldi Paulina says, I'll go with Gianna Llanes for Miss Globe. She's very nice and perfect for that crown. Balik tayo kay Rowan Santa Maria. Sabi niya, time to be the devil's advocate a little bit here. Stemming from your story from Jakarta, we hope that the pageant orgs will also uphold punctuality. Looking at you, final coronation night. I heard that reigning queens pay penalties for absences and tardiness to engagements. Do pageants do the same for the candidate? Okay, heto na ngayon yung mabigat na consequence ng mga tardiness na ito. The mere fact that I mentioned earlier that si Ate Jen, siya yung madalas na security ng mga girls, at siya yung nagche-check ng mga attendances ng mga girls na to. I think markado na yung mga girls na parating late. And I think that this is the time na you should awaken, that you should, na mahimasmasan yung mga girls na ito na parating late, because for sure, markado na kayo. Makakarating at makakarating na sa pamunuan ng Binibining Pilipinas yung mga candidates na parating late. And don't be shocked and surprised, because kung sa akin nga na media personnel lang na nagko-cover lang ng pageants, napansin ko nung event nung glam shot exhibit na pito yung late, how much more yung mga organization na nagpapatakbo. And I remember, I remember that si SMA noon, she frowns on the girls who are perennially late during the time na she was very active with Binibining Pilipinas. So, ano yung pagkakaiba nung panahon niya at yung panahon ngayon? Just because that you don't see the heads of the BPCI Executive Committee at at these events na minamanmanan kayo at tinitignan ng bawat galaw ninyo, do not fool yourselves that there's no one in the organization who is paying attention to your tardiness. Because there are. The mere fact that dalawang beses, tatlong beses kayong kinukuhanan ng attendance and tinitignan yung punctuality ng mga girls pagdating sa mga events ninyo, hindi na ba kayo nakaramdam na bakit kinakailangan tatlong beses kaming mag-login, dalawang beses kaming mag-login ng attendances namin? That means that there are people who are taking cue of who are late, who are early. And for sure, yung mga parating early or parating may abiso kung malilate ng 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 15 minutes, but still manages to arrive during that 15-minute na grace period, sila yung may ganda points. Sila yung titignan ng organization with good eyes na ito pa lang itong mga girls na ito yung mga girls na mapagkakatiwalaan natin for the Miss International na title, kasi hindi sila nalilate. Kung nalilate man sila, nagpapaalam sila bago sila malate. A heads up of 15 minutes or 10 minutes that before the deadline ng tawag nito na malilate kayo, yung abiso na ginagawa ninyo that you are going to be 5 minutes late because of traffic, because of certain uncontrollable na mga circumstances, is something that I would appreciate if I'm the one who's going to wait for you. And I think that also applies to the organization. And this is not only for Binibining Pilipinas. This also applies to every other organization. So imagine mo, if you are a Miss Universe winner and you are always an hour late to your events, ano na lang iisipin ng mga nag-hire sa'yo for your public appearances? How much are they going to look at how much are the penalties are you going to look at if you are going to be late? I'm not sure dun sa nag-comment sa inyo I think it's si Rowan about yung penalties ng mga girls kapag late silang dumating. But I am aware that they cannot be late. At yun yung extent ng alam ko, but they always make a effort na hindi sila malate, and if malilate sila, may abiso sila bago pa sila malate. So yun yung difference dito, kasi candidates pa lang kayo, pero ang ano ninyo, ang lakas ng loob ninyo na parati kayong late. Anong corona ang aasahan ninyo kapag nakarating sa pamunuan na, ma'am, this girl is always late. So let's be very cautious if we're going to crown this girl. Kasi last year, ang chismis sa amin is may isang girl na hindi na koronahan dahil sa hindi magandang asal. How much more on professionalism? I don't think na nakakalayo yung mga yan when it comes to deliberations later on. Or are we? We're not. Okay, we're with Mark Gonzalez. Sabi ni Mark, good PM Sir Jason, nakahabol sa live stream. I'm surprised that being late is something hopefuls must be mindful of, especially with Miss International putting a big weight on it. I'm reminded of former MI rep years ago. Alken Serbolles. Hello Sir Jason, malaki ang chance na makakakuha ng crown si Binibini 32. Jane Arzanon, Sir Jason, weren't these late girls being transported by their respective teams in the venue? Di po ba usually may mga camps sila? Yun na nga. May isang uh, di ko na lang sasabihin kung which camp. But there is girls from both of the major camps na parating nasasabihan na ito late si ganito sa ganyan, late si ganyan sa ganyan. So, it's no longer about the camps anymore. Kasi on both sides meron. It's about the individual girls nowadays. So, labas na dyan si Sir Jerry Diaz ng ACES, labas na dyan si Tito Rogel ng KF. Kasi lahat sila, whether it's ACES or KF man, meron akong nababalitaan na nalilate on both camps, and even for some independent na mga girls. So hindi na ito kasalanan ng camps, kasalanan na ito ng mga individual na mga girls na hindi sila on time, whatever the reason is, whatever their reason na late sila na dahil sa hair and makeup ganyan. They should take the responsibility how to make sure that this does not happen again. The mere fact that this has been an ongoing conversation sa loob ng mga insiders ng Binibini tells us that this is something na kinakailangan matigil na. Travel Junkie, nakahabol. Present po sir from Sofia, Bulgaria pa rin. Galing naman ng Travel Junkie kung saan nakakarating. Akin, mamaya ko na iisa-isahin yung mga comments about the girls kasi I think during the live stream nung Wednesday I've discussed the glam shot ng mga discussions, mga thoughts ko on that. I will try to have a space later on with regards to yung mga questions yung regarding certain girls towards the end of this live stream. Okay? Kasi tutukan muna natin yung main topic natin for this evening. Rowan Santa Maria, Sir Jason, maiba naman ng konti. What's your personal tip or trick to be always on time? Depending on the traffic situation, I would rather always be like 30 minutes early, 30 to 25 minutes early rather than late. Kasi nasanay ako na when I was working when I was traveling pala internationally because of my my job in Jakarta, I cannot afford to be late na dumating sa airport na ma-pick up nung magpi-pick up sa akin sa UK o kaya sa Dubai because of hindi ako prepared. I always make sure na I am as early as like 15 to 10 minutes na early, or 30 minutes if it's an international na mga mga flights, and factor in ko din yung check-in, if ilang oras yung check-in, ilang oras yung hintay sa check-in. I would rather that nandun ako kesa yung maiwanan ako ng eroplano or maiwanan ako ng shuttle bus going to one place to another, kasi mahirap yung mag-rebook ka at the dime of the company, tapos ang dahilan mo is because you missed your flight, or you missed your transfer na na bus and you're like 5 minutes late, 10 minutes late sa boarding time at hindi ka na pinapasok dun sa loob ng ng carrier. And if it's if it's tawag ito, if it's mga meetings lang with friends, ganyan, I make sure that I leave house depending on gaano kalayo ang traffic, maybe an hour and 30 minutes early. I'd rather that maghintay ako kaysa yung may naghihintay sa akin. Kasi hindi magandang tignan on my personal brand na ako yung parating late. And even if I'm late, I make sure to inform people in advance 10 minutes at the most na sabihin sa kanila na medyo malilate ako. That is why earlier today nag-message ako sa IG stories na I might be 5 minutes late because I am troubleshooting something. So there. Dorothy V. Jones, I teach personality development. I train my students to do their hair and makeup in 15 minutes, not pageant standards. I also teach time management, punctuality, a sign of discipline and respect. I agree. Because in the professional na setting, that being someone who is perennially late or perennially tardy, or yung hindi marunong mag-submit on deadlines ng mga required na mga reports, required na mga required ng mga documents, would essentially disbar, not disbar, that's not the right word, would essentially remove you from the contention for a promotion. I think, if you are a professional, ayaw mong masalipan ka na ito yung weakness mo, and your hiring manager or the HR na masilipan ka na kaya ka hindi promotable. It's because your issue is this. So there. Nasaan na tayo? CC, how does it feel to see SMA in person again? I'm actually quite happy because it puts it puts into a perspective na medyo matigil na yung mga chismis na palala ng health ni SMA, ganyan. I mean, granted that she's as fragile because she's already 80 years old. The mere fact that we should all remember that at her age, hindi na siya ganon ka-sprightly as before. So, maganda yung feeling. It's a happy feeling to see her finally in a Binibining Pilipinas event. And it's also kind of bittersweet because saka pa nangyari yung mga late na dumating ang mga girls doon sa event, kung kailan pa man din nagpakita si SMA na hindi ganun kadalas magpakita sa mga Binibining Pilipinas events sa ngayon. So, alam mo yun, parang it's kinda sayang. Nakita niya sana yung lahat ng mga girls had it been that hindi na late yung iba. Okay, Jella Vlogs, hello! Hello, Jella. Buti nakahabol ka. Yes, medyo marami na rin yung mga napag-usapan natin dito. Ayan. Dorothy V. Jones is saying the practice of multitasking gave a false confidence that people actually take up much more time accomplishing tasks in a haphazard way. Tardiness is an expression of false confidence. And I think that if you're not able to time management, I don't think that you'll be a very successful na professional, because time management is the kind of management na hindi mo pwedeng ibalik yung resource na nawala. When time is gone, that time hindi mo na kayang ibalik. So it's a skill that sets the professionals aside from apart from the amateurs. JB Sarmiento, hola Sir Jason, nice glasses po. Thank you. Sir Jess, do you have any chichis kung kailan pong BBP Parade of Beauties? Thanks po. I think the Parade of Beauties, asahan natin na baka sa May na yan mangyayari. Love ni Marod, hindi naman may iwasan malate, pero come on, minsan ka lang maging part ng prestigious pageant, dapat galingan mo na and give your best. Being late or tardy is unacceptable. I agree. Especially kung you're aiming for the Miss International crown, parang it does not calculate, it does not compute. Kumbaga hindi magbabalance yung yung equation dahil late ka parati sa national pageant tapos gusto mong ikaw ang ipadala sa international na competition. Um, Okay, Jella Vlogs, who catches your attention positively last Wednesday? I would say Gianna, I would say Kiara, especially Kiara kasi na-maintain niya yung ganda ng kutis niya during this entire competition. And the last time that I saw Gianna, I told her na alagaan mo yung skin mo. I'm also liking yung makeup ni Doktora Sandy Vollinger. I know it's spelled Candy, but apparently it's pronounced Sandy. So si Binibini 40, Sandy Vollinger is one of the girls that I am pretty much um, impressed. I also like yung appearance and countenance ng bearing ni Jessilyn Salvador, yung kapatid ni Maha. Napansin ko din yung ganda ni Lyra Punsalan. I also like, you know, since nabanggit na si Charmaine Magdasok, I like the fact that she is very much involved in her pageant journey kasi nakikita ko siya sa madalas sa feed ko, and I am very much happy that she is very active on social media. And I also like the fact that hindi siya parang naaapektuhan ng stress kasi maganda pa rin ang skin niya. As of this moment, I am looking at the girls na alagang-alaga pa rin yung kutis because as I said, you know, it shows you kung sino yung kayang i-handle yung stress ng competition. Travel Junkie, sabi niya, Sir, correct kayo. Markado na talaga yan. I worked in Araneta before. Nako, topic po yan sa loob. Gusto din po ng org assertive. Masyadong pampered na kasi yung mga girls. And I know for a fact that, the heads are being informed when the girls are tardy, when they are late. So, yung mga parating late, I'm sure pagsisisihan nila yung pagiging late nila later on. Kasi if this year will be the same as last year, that they're going to be very cutthroat and only take in 12 semifinalists, for sure, the girls na parating late, they would always doubt themselves na baka hindi ako nakapasok dahil parati akong late. So yun, I think that is something that they should think of kasi who would know na baka yun nga ang dahilan kaya hindi kayo makapasok sa semifinalists. Ayan. Peace Peeler, Sir Jason, you as a teacher, are you strict with your students when it comes to punctuality? I am not very much strict in when it comes to attendances. But magsabi kayo. I will allow you to plead your case na you will be late in terms of your submissions. As a teacher, I would allow that. Sandali lang may tumatawa lang sa akin. Si tita kasi nandito ngayon sa bahay. So, one of my aunts from the provinces is here in the house and nag-aano siya. May tinatanong siya about the television. So, I'm gonna deal with that later on mamaya. Okay, so where were we? When it comes to submissions, yes, I am very much lax with that. But because nag-extend ako, for example, ng deadline for, let's say, a submission of a paper or a project, I would assume that you did your best on that submission. Because if it does not meet my expectation with the additional na time frame that I allowed you to extend your submissions, then I would not grade it as high as I would had it been submitted na ganun yung quality at an earlier na submission date. So, there is an added layer of expectation um, pag nag-extend ako ng deadline. So, yun. Um, Rowan Santa Maria tip, kung may meet up and Sashes and Scripts community with the meeting time, bawasan ng 30 minutes to get the start time. Yes, I would always put that in my head na if kinakailangan na 10 o'clock nandun na ako sa venue, kinakailangan yung alarm ko, I should be there by 9:45. So there. Dorothy V. Jones, our candidates are trained to always stutter, I want to be the best version of myself. Then it follows that they will be early, not just punctual. They are representing Philippine culture of time. I agree kasi I have read this article on Japanese punctuality when I was researching for this topic. I think I read it a day or two ago. And sabi nila, yung konsepto ng mga Japanese ng on time is not arriving on time. It's actually arriving 10 minutes or 15 minutes earlier of the agreed time. Kasi yung 10 minutes na leeway na yon accounts for delays for whatever reason. Sa atin kasi, ang on time is that uh, saka ka lang aalis ng bahay 5 to 10 minutes before yung before yung meet up ninyo. And I think that is a culture of Filipino culture na, or Filipino trait rather, that we need to erase or at the very least minimize. Kasi hindi siya nakakagandang tignan sa international na community. And especially when you are working with international na mga principals who would compliment me that I'm always early, which goes to say that there is a stereotype for us Filipinos by foreigners that we're always tardy, that we're always late. And that's, nakakahiya. Nakakahiya siyang tignan. Dorothy V. Jones says, I tell my students that when you are on time, you are late. Being early gives you time to prepare, which being on time doesn't. I agree. Lemuel 23:5. In terms of Miss Universe Philippines, may mga nababalita ba sa mga Merlis na ang late or tardy when it comes to activities? Who are the 5 that stood out for you in the swimsuit presentation? Lemuel, wala pa akong nakikitang full video ng mga girls doon sa kanilang swimsuit presentation sa Boracay. So, hihintayin ko yan bago ako magbigay ng konkretong opinion about that. What I have heard though in MUPH from pageant friends and media who covered the event is that maraming mga may ere na mga candidates sa MEPH. Yung mga tipong may attitude na tipong I'm an empowered woman, so tumabi kayo dyan. or yung alam mo yun, yung parang entitled yung feeling na ang definition kasi nila ng empowered woman is yung kayang mangmata ng tao na hindi pa paapak sa ibang tao, na kahit na nagkamali yung ibang tao around them, parang they are high and above that. I've also heard that there are a lot of girls who are not necessarily approachable in the roster of the MEPH girls. So again, as I've said, these are things na I'm still keeping my ear on the ground on. Kapag may oras tayo na makumpleto natin yung mga feedback sa mga ito, saka tayo magpa-chichi. Yun. And where were we now? Lemuel, again, yung mga binabanggit mo, I don't actually follow that kasi na-explain ko naman sa iyo sa Messenger na I am not actively following that pageant. So kahit na anong pilit mo, wala akong masasabi na anything kasi I am not particularly into covering for that pageant. Okay? So, wag masyadong pushy. Sisi, hint naman po sa mga surprises ng BBP. Sisi, hindi muna ako magsasalita kung ano yung naririnig ko. I've dropped several hints in the past, whether it's in IG stories, whether it's on my actual posts. So ano naman, balatin nyo na muna sa akin to kasi medyo mainit yung topic natin ngayon, na pinag-uusapan about the Binibining Pilipinas girls. I'm sure some of them might be thinking that this is a topic that's not supposed to be coming out. That's something that's internal to them, and it might jeopardize my accreditation. But I think this is on my end a wake up call for the girls na medyo umayos kayo kasi uh, hindi na siya something na hindi alam ng ibang tao. Kumbaga sa skeletons in our closets naaamoy na kumakalat na. So better tell you now that people are aware, the media people are aware of this, the people inside are aware of this, and it's time to you to step up sa mga girls na parating late because you might baka pagsisihan ninyo na hindi nyo maagapan yung mga tardiness ninyo dahil kayo hindi nyo pa nakikita yung hindi nyo pa nakikita yung consequences, and you will be you magsisisi kayo dahil later on kung hindi nyo nakuha yung kind of result that you want. Baka pagsisihan ninyo. Yun lang. Marami pa man din sa inyo may potential na maging queens, but if this is the reputation that precedes you, that you are unreliable when it comes to time, then kiss the crown goodbye. Dorothy V. Jones, from some interviews of past Emmy candidates, they wake up early as 4 hours before the reporting time, and they say that is already rushing for the rehearsals. So imagine that, 'di ba? Parang I know that hindi lahat ng pagkakataon hindi valid yung reason ninyo na maging late because there is one candidate who came in very late to the event. I think tapos na yung event nung dumating siya, and na-explain niya, because I was able to talk to that candidate, na-explain niya na ganito kasi sir, meron akong prior engagement with the local government kung saan siya nanggaling, and there are certificates that needs to be signed doon sa kanyang place of work, that she needs to appear doon sa head office nila, and meron siyang mga photos as katibayan na nagsasabi na sir, eto po kayo yung katibayan ko na and reason ko why I was late for this event. So yun maiintindihan ko dahil may resibo na may prior engagement. So I think some of the girls na who is still thinking na they can get away with it, medyo maalog-alog kayo, ma-awaken kayo sa reality na na lahat ng mga pinagagawa ninyo nakakarating doon sa pamunuan ng Binibining Pilipinas. So this is a wake up call, this is a shake up to these girls na medyo gising-gising naman kayo, huwag kayong masyadong maging reliant doon sa inyong mga glam team para ayusan kayo. Huwag kayong masyadong nagpapalit parate because your reputation precedes you. And once a reputation is ruined, ang hirap niyang baguhin, ang hirap niyang ayusin, ang hirap niyang i-damage control kapag naidikit na sa mga pangalan ninyo na you are unprofessional, you are always tardy, and these are things that's not going to pay off in the long run, especially dahil ang pamunuan Binibining Pilipinas may mata at may tenga sa bawat sulok ng mga activities na ginagawa ninyo. Limuel, okay, yes, Limuel. So ano muna, preno na muna tayo doon. Kasi, you know, again, ipaalala ko sa inyo, um, I do pageant coverage on my free time. And my work takes me, my teaching job takes me Mondays to through Thursdays. And the only time that I have time to research for content for pageants is my Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays. So if push kayo ng push na ito yung nangyayari, ito yung kinakailangan yung malaman with regards to these pageants, ako na yung mismo nagsabi sa inyo before na if there is one pageant that I will consistently cover for this national pageant season, that is Binibining Pilipinas. And that's because that is the pageant that I am most close, that I feel most appreciated, that I feel that there's space for me there. So kung hindi ko na cover yung mga ibang mga pageants na na sinasabi na gusto nyong i-cover ko, I do beg off na pagpasensyahan niyo na because I don't have the time in the world na to do all of that, because as an educator I also have to do my research for my actual job, not only doing the research for my YouTube, live stream and episodes. And even during my free time, nagagawan ko pa ng paraan na mag-schedule ng interview with some of the girls, and make some time to to meet up with them, get to know them, and get to know more about who they are, so that I am able to create content na would get people to to appreciate these candidates more. So pagpasensyahan niyo na kung medyo mabilis akong makulitan sa mga ganitong mga comments on a certain coverage on Reina Hispano-Americana or Miss World Philippines or Miss Grand Philippines, because I'm not covering all of these pageants. I only cover those are the ones that bring me joy, because I as you grow older, when you hit the mark of 40 years old, you would start thinking of what are the things that would bring you joy, and that is what you're going to do. If it does not make me happy, if it does not make me feel excited or fulfilled to discuss a certain topic, I will not discuss that topic. Just as much as if it does not bring me joy, bakit ko kinakailangang pag-usapan yung certain pageants na ito? Okay? Where are we? Dorothy V. Jones. I casually interviewed a past Binibini and Miss Earth candidate. She said that one trick is to always eat in between rehearsals. Never to eat heavy before going to sleep. It would be easier to wake up. I think that's a good thing, because kung mas mahaba nga daw yung mas tawag ito, when you eat smaller portions of meals spread out throughout the day, mas alive yung energy mo, so your energy is much more stable, na wala kang ups and downs, wala kang highs and lows in terms of your energy throughout the day. Will Garcia, Sir Jason, di ba nakatira sa hotel yung mga Binibining Pilipinas candidates? If so, why nalilate pa yung iba? Okay, Will, they're not billeted at the Novotel throughout the entire 3-month na time. They are only being billeted on the last week or last 2 weeks of the competition. Yun yung lock-in na nila na nandun na sila sa Novotel. Throughout the entire, 3 months na duration ng pageant, umuwi sila sa kanilang mga residences. Some of the girls actually, in order for them to not be late for their appearances, their activities with Binibining Pilipinas, what they do is that they hire or they rent out a condo dito sa may Manhattan City Gardens, or anywhere near the vicinity of the Araneta City na area, para mas mabilis sa kanila na mag-prepare, tapos makarating doon sa meeting place nila, whether it's in Aurora Towers sa Binibining Pilipinas na headquarters, or sa mismong New Frontier Theater. Lamwa 23.5, nabasa mo ba yung post ni Kun-an? Hehe, nakakatawa si Kun-an. Marunong playtime sa fans. Yung comments niya sa isang fan, she's excited to scream her iconic halo. Lemuel, actually, to be honest, nakamute sa akin ngayon si Kun-an kasi medyo hindi na ako natutuwa doon sa kanyang mga paandar on social media. So, I'm kinda actively taking a mental break from her social media accounts, and it's because it's getting too much, and I don't need to be inundated with all of this information all of the time. Dorothy D. Jones, a good attitude results in good behavior. That's a tested formula to ensure respect and professionalism wherever you are situated. Be in a pageant, whether wherever you are situated, be it in pageant or at work. Jam Amihan, si RH Ad, constant initial code name, po ba ang isa sa mga candidates na hindi punctual? Sino si RHAD? Sige. I am not, okay, para hindi tayo magpapatsaan na lang ako doon sa mga alam kong nalilate. But I'll do it a little bit later na lang. Sir Cactus, Sir Jessan, any hints? May dagdag na crown sa BDP. Tagal nyo na tinatanong sa akin to. Pero as I said, time and time again, I don't have any idea if there are new crowns because tinanong ko na si mga insiders na nakakilala ko, tinanong ko na rin sa mga PR ng Binibining Pilipinas, and they have not given me any kind of information that I can share with you. So kapag ready na sila, saka sila magsasabi. Sa kanila na mismo manggagaling. If they are that tight-lipped, it's better na tawag nito na hintayin na lang natin kasi no matter of coercion, of pagsasaliksik on our part, if they are being tight-lipped, mahirap na pangunahan sila. Okay, Winston Francisco, sana i-award na lang ng NPE crown sa Binibining Pilipinas. I think siguro for that to be effective, kinakailangan muna siguro that Binibining Pilipinas would strengthen yung sustainability element na inumpisahan nila this year, so that if in case that they want to expand their franchises and include Miss Philippines Earth, it makes more sense na meron na yung ethos na yon na nakadikit sa Binibining Pilipinas. So maybe in a year or two, we would see that. So I would want na strengthen po na ng Binibining Pilipinas yung sustainability element nila, so that it makes more sense that they would acquire MPE if in case na gustuhin ng Binibining Pilipinas to take the franchise. Okay, guys, it's already 1 hour and 23 minutes. I think lahat ng mga gusto kong sabihin with regards to the Binibining Pilipinas na updates and yung ating topic on punctuality and professionalism, I've already discussed. So I just want to wrap it all up dito sa final statement ko with regards to with regards to this topic. This is a fair warning to all Binibining Pilipinas girls who is especially gunning for the Miss International na title. The Japanese are very particular with politeness. And with politeness, it comes, respect when it comes to time. Respect when it comes to punctuality. It would be very difficult to say na hindi naman makaka-apekto yan sa performance ninyo. Yes, it will not be affected yun sa performance ninyo. But any hiring company if they see that you are a perennially tardy na employee, there will come a time that magsasawa na rin sila sa'yo. And you would see either HR for your final interview, exit interview, or they would just, um, pass you off whenever there are promotions. And in the context of, pageantry, there's a possibility that they will just brush you off for any of the titles. And mind you, ang Binibining Pilipinas, may mata, may tenga sa bawat activity nila. And this is this is a fair warning for you ladies, because if you want a title, then you would be respectful of the time ng ibang tao, ng ibang candidates, ng organization, ng mga blue boys, ng mga security officers, ng mga drivers, ng mga assistants, ng mga PR people who are helping you in your pageant journey. Especially those na you directly have in contact with throughout the pageant, especially on the organizational side ng pageant, dahil they are being asked of your behavior. They give feedback on whether or not you are pasaway, you are sakit sa ulo, you are professional, you are easy to work with, whether you are a nice person to be around, whether they see you fit for a title. So do not tarnish your reputation as girls who are unreliable when it comes to time, as girls who are unreliable when it comes to professionalism. Dahil once that you are crowned Binibining Pilipinas Queens, your job entails public appearances. And if you're not being professional with your work, what's the incentive for the organization to keep you around? So think of it that way. Nobody is going to, nobody is going to fight for you or defend you for being tardy. What they see is, we see a girl who is always tardy. And if it becomes a pattern, and it becomes, muscle memory for you that you are always tardy, then that's a lost cause, because I don't think that that would merit for you, good reputation, and I don't think that that would help you win the title, or any title for that matter, whether it's in Binibining Pilipinas, it's in another national pageant organization, whether it's MPE, Miss Philippines, Miss World Philippines, Miss Philippines Earth, or Miss Universe Philippines. If you are always tardy, if nakadikit na sa pangalan ninyo yung pagiging perennially late, then I don't think that may company or may pageant organization na susugal sa inyo. Not unless magbago kayo. And bago pa man dumating sa punto na irreplaceable na yung damage ng pagiging tardy ninyo sa mga activities nyo in whatever pageant that you are in, ayusin nyo na ngayon pa lang, dahil kung nakarating na siya, if all of these, issues on attendances and punctuality has already come to the point that the media are aware of it, it's just a matter of time before the heads of the organizations will take note of it. Because more than the media, they are the ones who have the logbook to check if you are always late or you are always early. So, wake up call to these girls, be professional, do what it takes, whatever it takes to arrive on time, because you are left with less than 2 months for the competition. You are essentially competing for a very limited number of title, and if you're not professional, there is no incentive to reward you with a title. And I do hope na yung mga kinakailangan makarinig nitong message na ito, mahimasmasan before it gets too late. Dahil sayang, marami doon sa mga girls na napansin kong late, eh, pwedeng manalo. Um, and it would be very, sayang lang kung mapunta lang sa wala yung mga pinaghirapan ninyo. Okay? So, that's it. Thank you everyone sa lahat ng mga dumalo ngayon sa ating live stream. I know it's a very controversial and it's it's sort of a left field na topic to discuss, especially because it's Binibining Pilipinas, and I am always, someone who always try to find the good story behind the what's going on. But I think this time around, kinakailangan may mga lampag dito sa mga girls na ito. So, thank you very much for joining our live stream this evening, and I hope to see you again soon. For those na kakarating or medyo late, team replay na lang doon sa mga na-miss na mga topics and sa mga discussions na hindi nyo narinig, nabasa. And I do hope na you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell for more pageant related na mga videos natin here. So that's it everyone. Thank you very much for joining, and I hope to see you in our next live. Bye everyone, and take care.